the famous cloud.
That's right.
You know,
That's
this
right.
beautiful marketing word, which is nothing to do than just servers.
Yeah.
So you need infrastructure to serve your, I would say, you know, this new ecosystem of digitalization.
So you know what, while I have you here, 'cause I have some questions that we've been talking about earlier on the show, because we've been doing a live broadcast. This is all going out live right now to folks. Is one of the questions that I brought up earlier and just talked about is how we're seeing a transition from different ways that the content gets delivered. You are delivering still through broadcasting.
Yeah.
Are you guys seeing where this world is changing? Look at how many people watch something on the internet today. Where do you guys feel that your company possibly fits in the future?
Well, actually, the thing is, yes, you have internet, you have the satellite,
right?
You have the terrestrial, so you have all those kind of systems. And I think instead of competing, they are just completing each other. We can't work without them. I mean, you can't just eliminate the traditional TV broadcast. It's been, I mean, people have been trying to kill the broadcast industry for years, and at the end of the day, what do we have? TV, still there.
Right. That is true. That is true. I remember as a kid back in the 60s that you would go to the movie theater and you would see that if commercials coming up about, oh, how terrible all these new things are coming that are going to take away the TV. And I know probably who are paying for it were the broadcasting companies or people that build equipment like you.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? You guys have been, I guess I have to come back and compliment that backwards. You're the one that's existed all along.
Absolutely.
So,
and we're still here.
So where do you find your market is today? More in upgrades?
The market has changed. Those are the TV stations, and you will always have TV station. Now, the question is, what do we put? And what has changed is the content. It's not so much about how we distribute the content. It's the content itself, because at the end of the day, we will always need a very strong infrastructure backbone. Even if it's satellite, this is heavy infrastructure. I mean, our transmitters, you can deliver everything through our transmitters, through satellite, receiving the signal from the satellite, or the fiber, or the terrestrial. So we have all the options. Oh, you do all these? Yes. You're just not the trust. You just not have a bunch of towers that you're servicing. No. You have a whole. So you guys have adapted to the world. Yes. We had to. We had to find a way that actually, what is a terrestrial TV is the opportunity to give away programs to the majority of people. Right. Because it's free. Right. While satellites, it's very costly. Right. I mean, you have to pay every month. Fiber is very costly in infrastructure. Today, even if you want to watch Netflix, you have to pay. That's true, very true. So the terrestrial TV is the only way to watch TV free. And so this is where we have the biggest level of penetration in the market. You can see in the US, I mean, the repack showed it. Everybody just repacked. Although we could see, oh my God, we don't need any more transmitters. I mean, just go on internet. But at the end of the day, nobody can afford to be 100% of internet. Tomorrow, let's say tomorrow you have a cut on internet. True. Internet shut down. What do you do? Look at the pandemic. Yeah. What happened? Yeah. I mean, it has increased the need of having access to all those new technologies, but it has shown also that without a robust infrastructure, you just die. Well, you know, and it's interesting, and my mind is, while you're going here, I'm kind of one of these people who keeps thinking, how far can I think on something here? Because you look at these different apocalyptic programs, right? There's somebody that's still broadcasting on some type of a US channel across the world or whatever. You know, when it gets down to it, you're right on that. One of the things that still exists, that can exist, you may lose your ground infrastructure with maybe, fiber. Huh? Could you lose your satellite? Yeah, just with a big a blast from the sun, right? Or even if you don't pay the subscription. Don't pay your subscription, that is right. If you don't pay, if the country doesn't pay, because most of the countries are using satellites. Yes. Transmission. Yes. But most of the countries don't have their own satellite. So they have to pay to get the signal. Right. And to get the flow of information, just to get the right to use it. Very true. The day they don't pay the bill, you cut it. And what happened? So where do you see, on far as getting data out, the content out, because I mean, it's really all of it is data, no matter if it's being pushed out through an antenna or whatever, it says data. Okay. So getting content, so where do you see us in 3, 5, 10 years as far as content delivery? I have no clue, to be fully honest. I mean, nobody knew what will have happened 2 years ago with the pandemic. It
Very true.
It had a huge impact on how we are consuming content. Therefore, had an impact on how we create content. And I think unfortunately, only crisis, that we've been using for 100 years. I think the content, I think we all think that there will be, at the end of the day, we are always talking about revolution. This is just content. And the fact is not so much about the revolution of the content, it's how we support the content. What will be the vehicle of the content? That is where the revolution is. Because we are just changing. We had the golden age of Hollywood. Okay, no, as you said, I mean, in our younger ages, we were going to the movie theater, watching our movie, and we're happy. Now we stay home. Okay, but the content is still there. The content has changed, but you're still watching your TV or your screen. I mean, your smartphone is a TV. Your tablet is a TV, actually. The format has changed, but we are still watching programs. The question for me is more about how will be the content, what kind of content, what format will have the content, because we are very demanding as being viewers. We want always more. We want flat screen, we want curved screen, we want gigantic screen. And
so true.
So I think it's how the people who are creating the content will adapt to the demand, and how I think the content will go, which I think is quite scary, is I think we will be, as viewers, part of the content.
Well, we're looking at that today. When you look at different platforms today, it's no matter if it's the Twitch or whatever it is. Sometimes these are little short snapshots of somebody that does something crazy in their backyard, or somebody that goes ahead and goes further with this. I mean, one of the things that we've seen, and we're actually a worldwide internet company. We do design for companies all around the world. Well, our video division, we're saying this is something that adapting, where we said we had to, smaller websites are not going to be around. We're not going to do those. Those are going to be done by computers. The big websites will still do those. But how do we get into this content world? And then the pandemic hit, which was good and bad. One, it shot it up. Two, we couldn't record anybody. So I'm coming back to this because I want to touch back on something you said before, and I sure appreciate your time here. This is wonderful stuff, because we've been talking about this stuff all along. We're not here just to show, but if somebody wants to get involved in content like the entry level, second level, third level, whatever type of levels they're getting to, where do you see, and I kind of agree with you, it's hard to tell what tomorrow looks like. So your crystal ball is a little bit fuzzy like mine, right? Where do you see where somebody wants to get into this, how can they still take advantage of it? Is it too late?
Too late. I think it's never too late. If it would be too late, we would be here. I mean, we are here because we know there is much to be done. I think now, anything with sports, I think sports is going to be great. I believe that for many reasons, you can see esports is becoming crazy, and I think esports will be, for many people around the world, their chance to be successful at something that are not in the real world. Like people, gaming. Gaming was 20 years ago. You were gaming, you were a loser. I mean, like when you are not studying.
Right.
It's either you study or you play.
Your big thumb strength, right?
Yeah. So now gaming, you get professional teams of gamers. I mean, those guys are trained. They are trained like athletes.
Right.
And I think people who now will go into the esports, and people creating content around the esports, is going to be crazy. Because you can see that for many reasons, again, medical reasons, for whatever reasons, it's going to be more and more difficult, to have all those teams, and there will be, you just have to follow the money.
That's exactly true, because I don't know if you know, in California, esports now is a CIF state sport. So we're seeing more and more states are doing this. And I agree with you. Who would ever have thought that you would have tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, then millions of people watching somebody else play a game?
Why can't you put that sport being, physically diminished?
Yes.
And that's also something that is great about those kind of things. It's a chance to people who naturally don't have the chance. to play football, baseball, or any kind of sports because they have some physical disabilities. But that doesn't mean they can't do it. They can do it in a different way. And that is creating a new world of opportunities. You can give a chance to some kids, you know, who, for whatever reason, you always had those kids in the class, you know, the skinny one, the one that you never get chosen in the team.
That's true, very true.
But those guys can be so good at any soccer game on internet, like baseball, basketball. They can even, you know, kill the big guys on internet. And that's I think this is a huge thing, and I believe esports. I mean, we know that already. I mean, as you said,
it's already there.
It's already started.
Right.
Everybody who, I mean, not everybody, but the people who will think about creating very creative content around esports, I think there is something here.
So let's, before we end this, because I want to make sure for your time you gave me here today,
I'm fine.
I want to talk about your company a little bit. So really what you guys are the higher end type of content delivery companies, no matter if it's terrestrial or if it's fiber or if it's satellite. How long have you guys been in business?
Almost 100 years.
100 years, there you go. You never know, because we've been going around the floor here trying to find different things that trigger.
Yeah.
And you know what? Thank you very much for taking the time.
Welcome.
And then your name of your company is again?
It's Guillaume. My name is Guillaume Bonnard. I am the Vice President, Thomson Broadcasting.
Thomson Broadcasting. Well, you know what? Thank you very much for sharing with us today. It's a little bit outside of what you guys do here, but your knowledge, this is the kind of stuff our viewers want to see.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for sharing with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a wonderful thing to catch here. We just thought we were coming into a green screen, and look what we come into. Very good. Thank you very much again. So I'm going to give him a card, and if I get one of your cards. So,
if I find it,
you know, your insight was very, very good, and I know our viewers out there will enjoy this. And like I said, we've been, I don't know how many, we did 3 hours on the floor yesterday, just one long stream for people that can't make the event. We tried to, like I said, I've told everybody that we've been trying to find things that are at that level, but you know, your insight today added to everything I was saying today, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What a wonderful interview we got a chance to do there just by walking in and sitting down in somebody's little green screen booth. That was wonderful. All right, let's slip down this way here. We're running out of time. We only got a half an hour yet today to go. You just never know what you're going to find. So, I mean, what a great interview. His insights, we've been talking about esports, we talked about a little bit yesterday, we talked about a little bit today. This is something where I know people are playing a game at home, putting online and making money today. Starting off making $100 a month, $200, $300. I know people out there are making hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month, thousands of dollars a month, just play and put it on the internet. Whole different thing that we really haven't even got into. All right, let's look at this side of the area here. We're getting down to the end here. Of course, we're getting down to the last half an hour the show is open. So everybody here is pretty tired, I should say, not tight. So this is broadcasting. So you know, it's kind of interesting that you had a broadcast company does all kinds of broadcast network, and they have a little green room there. We sit down in the green room, and next thing you know, we're talking to somebody. I'm seeing the company here that has lights that go on top of towers. You're responsible for that. If your lights are not on your towers, you can be fined. Of course, you have to have big towers. All right, let's come over here. I think, William, you and I have put onto this floor probably 6 miles in the last 2 days here. And again, if there's something that we have missed here, something you really wanted to see here at NAB and say, well, gosh, where's that company? There's a few of them that I need to go back and look up myself that I was hoping to find. Either they're not here, we just didn't run into them. I'm not sure why. Send us a note on that. You can send us an email. Send us an email to socialmedia@ciso.com and explain to us and say, Eric, you didn't get over this booth over there. We'll sure make an effort. Okay. Let's take a look over here on this side over here. So far, most of this, I'm not seeing where this is going to fit for us, but then again, you never know who we could end up running into and talking to. There's a lot of experts here. Some of the companies that I was really surprised we didn't see here are companies like Vimeo. Vimeo's not here. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different companies that are, don't know. Analytics. Let's take a minute here because I'm sitting here thinking analytics over here, and I just want to talk about something real quick here. Maybe we could swing around because a lot of this is this thing will explain a lot here. This is a company that works with AWS. I know them. We do not currently use them. Once you have your video, if it's online out there somewhere, you got to be able to know who's coming to watch it, and that's where analytics comes in. I tell you, the excitement to get when you get your first view, and I'll tell you probably who your first view is almost every time, it'll probably be you. Then you have your second view and you're going, somebody came and watched my stuff. Then you get the 10 views, 20 views, 100 views, and then you're just saying, you know what you got to do to get more of that? You got to be consistent. And one of the things that we have found in our company here that has really been tough is trying to be consistent through the pandemic. It's been really, really tough for us. But you got to keep that content moving. Now as we're starting to see the machine running again, we're hoping to start delivering a lot more content out there for you. So let's head down this way before the show ends here in just a few moments. A lot of the booth people are already leaving.
Yeah, let's go.
Some of these booths, it turns into beer 30 at this point here. Media. All righty. Okay, that's not something we need. All right. We're running out of exciting things here, but we're down at the last little few booths over here at the West Hall, and you can see that the bars are opening up really quick here. Let's sneak down this way, then we'll come back around. Okay. Master control working, playback. Not too concerned about that here. Okay. All right, let's come back around here and see if we can find something interesting on this side before we end our day. Hang with us, we're almost at the end here. There is, you think about the cost of transportation today, cost of flying, the cost of taking the time to fly. You're going to find a lot of companies are already doing this, and it's even getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And it has to do with telecommunication across the planet and everywhere. Don't even know what bit moving is. Looks like analytical software, I'm guessing. I'm not really sure. Everybody can look at all these booths. Everybody's starting to get really tired. Delivery solutions. I'm going to say that BitMove is what they are. Is they're more of an analytics, the same what you're streaming and so forth. what's getting out there, who's watching it. And then you got to figure out why they're watching it and why they're not watching it. Well, I think we'll go ahead. This has been, how can I say this? I expected more from this show this year, but then again, I have to come back and say that unfortunately, it's just what we hit here this year. I think next year's show will be more innovative. We're already seeing that the technologies, the cost of cameras are falling like crazy. It kind of comes back if you happen to be somebody as old as me, when the first VCR come out, back in the 70s, you could have paid $1,500 for it in the 70s. $1,500 in the 70s is a lot of money. So now what you actually see out here today, you're seeing cameras that maybe 5 years ago would have cost you anywhere upwards to $5,000 to $10,000. You're able to afford to fit into those type of upper level cameras for just maybe $1,000 to $2,000. It's changing rapidly. We've had a chance to see, what type of backgrounds. We didn't see a lot of companies that were actually selling simplified green screen backgrounds. But gosh, on the internet out there, they're a dime a dozen. If you are interested in doing your own work with some green screen stuff, you got some space in either an extra bedroom or in your garage, this is a great place to experiment with this. Kodachrome stuff is not that hard to do. And you know what? When you're done there, you can be anywhere. You can be anywhere you want to be. And it doesn't take much. And saying, well, Eric, you know what? I like to experiment with this, but I'm not ready to go out and buy a $2,000 or $3,000 camera. Well, at this point here, I guarantee you probably have a smartphone, don't you? If you got a smartphone, you have an amazing camera. And some of the newer cameras, for example, like the upper newer cameras like the i13 or the iPhone 13, these can do some amazing, amazing video stuff. You're saying, well, you know what, my hands are jittery and I walk around with the phone, always my videos are bouncing all over the place. That's technique. So go buy yourself a gimbal for under $100 that you can fit on your cell phone, and so that now your videos are nice and smooth, they're even, they're not tipping over the place. So now what do you have invested? A cell phone and $100. Go and buy yourself a green screen. So now you can take the gimbal that's holding your cell phone, buy yourself a simple little tripod, put it in front of you, that just cost you $20, $25, and now you're cutting video. So now you got to figure out saying, okay, how do I do post-editing? Now post-editing is a little bit more complicated. There are some free products out there, but some of the free products, you get what you pay for. If I were to say I'm going to invest some time learning a piece of software, I would rather go ahead and spend the $30 a month, possibly with Adobe or with another platform, and pay for that so that the education that I'm actually receiving on that platform is something I can use long term. If you go out and start learning a simple free product, that's going to take care of you today, but I'm going to guarantee you're going to outgrow it. So in the software range, it's not maybe a place you want to skimp on. You want to probably learn, because that time and effort, that investment of time, we only have so much time in our days to learn about the software. Start with a product, like I said, we use for probably about 80% of the stuff we use Premiere Pro or After Effects or some type of Adobe product. So our time invested in that product is going to be long term. And what Adobe keeps coming up with new ways for us to keep up with this. Now, I'm just not trying to promote Adobe. I'm not an Adobe stockholder or anything. I'm just telling you what we use and what's working for us. There's a lot of platforms in here to do a lot of things, but some of the things I've seen over the years being involved in the computers going all the way back to the late 70s or in the mid 70s is you go and invest a lot of time in a piece of software, and all of a sudden the software either gets bought up by somebody or it disappears completely. A good example was a photo product that we used for a long time. It was made by a company called ULEAD. Then all of a sudden they were bought up and gone, and it all disappeared. So now all that investment of time that we put in learning that product there is now out. It's in the trash can. Now we're out there learning a new product. If you're a big Photoshop fan, Photoshop has been around a long time. That's an Adobe product. So something to consider when you're talking about software. As far as content delivery, YouTube, it's free. You don't have to do anything. You just go ahead, create yourself an account, create yourself a channel, and you go ahead and put up your stuff up there, and it's done. You don't have to do anything. Now when you're ready to get to the next level, are there a lot of different platforms you can dive into? There sure are. There's a ton of them out there. So I think some of the things really when it gets down to the big decision, to me, is not the camera, it's not the platforms, it's not the software editing, it's what drives you in the heart of something you want to go out and record. Because if it doesn't come from here, it's never going to be high quality. Find something out there that you're passionate about, you will find viewers out there. It was interesting, I had a friend that brought up a gentleman that went ahead and did a video about a certain type of a rock. And he was so excited about this rock that he finds and that he's able to make all kinds of things out of in his craft shop or whatever. This guy's got thousands and thousands and thousands of people viewing this video. How would you ever think that somebody would go out and view a video for thousands of times, many, many people, on a rock? Very interesting. So I think, like I said, I'm going to stress this again. I can't stress it enough. Find something you want to deliver content on, stick with it, and try to figure out how it develops for you. If you find it's not developing, it's not going where you want it to go, you got to either think about it, either the content is not good, it's not being edited well, or something else, or maybe you just pick something that just doesn't work, then figure out what the next thing to do is. I'm never one to an opinion to think that you have to stay with one content line. And you can tell by our company, we're doing all kinds of things. We're doing stuff that has to do with travel. We're doing stuff that has to do with adventure. We're doing stuff that has to do with breweries and distilleries and wineries. We're doing a tech program. We have our local news programs working with. And a lot of this is also by us doing so many different platforms in our company, because we have the tools and the people to be able to do that, is it allows us to experiment and saying, where's this market going to go? But like I said, coming back to it, find your market, find your niche and dive with it. NAB, was a pleasure to be here. If there's something, again, I'm going to stress this again, if there's something that we missed or somebody out here we missed that we need to go back and speak to, send me an email through social media at ciso.com. Say, Eric, can you get over to this booth here? I really wanted to see something on this. And we'll do our best to try to see if we can get over to find that. I'm Eric Swanson, I'm your host. This is going to be on Mojave River Valley News and a tech program. It's 2 of our stations out there. And it's just been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Please subscribe. By you subscribing, it helps to give us some strength out there. And it also, ring the bell, so the next time we're doing a broadcast live like this, that you can say, hey, look at Eric's over here doing such and such somewhere. So stick with us, the new episodes that we have coming down the line here. We do plan on doing more conventions like this because everybody said this is what they want to see. They want to see the crazy guy being followed by the cameraman. And that's what we did again for you this week here. Thank you again. My name's Eric Swanson. We'll catch you on the next video.